Chinar Ravindra Bal Saraf, Pandharpur Sacred Spaces.
First of all, I pay my respect to this great institute of our country, the Banaras Hindu University, and pay tribute to its founder, Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji. I would express my gratitude to the curator and Team Indic Academy for giving me the opportunity to speak at this landmark event. My topic is about Pandharpur and its pilgrimage. I am, as an architect, did this research for my graduation project at 5th year, and I'm going to take you through the Pandharpur experience of both the Wari and the Pandharpur town and how rich it is in the heritage value. Um, this is just to remind us our duties from the Constitution. My presentation is divided into three parts: the pilgrimage aspect of Pandharpur and how rich it is in its intangible heritage. The second is the Pandharpur town, and third is my research project which I did for my thesis. This is just the background of Pandharpur, the location. Well, my story with Pandharpur begins from my family. I'm born in a Maharashtrian family. My parents are bankers and my grandparents are farmers. And our family deity being the Khandoba and Turza Bhavani. And in spite of them being the family deity, our affiliation was more to the Vithala, Lord Vithala and Rukmini. And this is my grandmother to Pandharpur. She was taking the Pandharpur pilgrimage. And throughout my life, I was brought up listening to the stories of all the saints and journey. And it always stayed with me during my architectural course. And this graduation project gave me an opportunity to look at this aspect of my upbringing. And in the academic time, we were given a brief of how your thesis or your project should be. So this is the three triangles which your basis of your project should be. And this next triangle is, we have to find out what the answer to this next triangle should be. And my whole thesis was aligned on this aspect to search the architectural typology. What is the architectural, or as an architect, what you could give to such a sacred spaces. So this presentation, the goal and journey. So every pilgrimage site is divided into a journey and a goal. Somewhere in like Varanasi, the site itself is so important. The goal itself is so important that however you come, it doesn't matter. The reaching Varanasi is the ultimate aim. And there is another aspect of journey, like the Sabrimala Yatra, where the journey is important. You take the ritual. So these two aspects in Pandharpur reflect strongly very much that both are equally important. The journey, 18-day journey, and this is by Sant Jnaneshwar, where he talks about how eager he is to go to the Pandharpur. And I'm going to swipe through the slides and simultaneously read my paper. A pilgrimage is a holy act of journeying to the sacred landscape, primarily for religious reasons and spiritual benefits, but it is not limited to them. The sacred landscape of India plays a pivotal role in celebration of religious traditions and mythological stories associated with them. Pilgrimage is a meritorious religious activity to holy site and has been happening in almost all of the world religions for ages, influencing a huge cross-section of society to come together and move masses towards religious centers. The phenomena of pilgrimage is central to public realm. Its study involves an intricate layering of beliefs, custom, tradition, religion, which collectively govern the people-space relationship. Thus, my research deals with the idea and study of religious town of Pandharpur, the pilgrimage of Pandharpur. It allowed me to study the rituals as both as an architect and as a pilgrimage. This is the history of Wari, where son of Tukaram Maharaj took the padukas of Sant Tukaram Maharaj and Jnaneshwar Mauli and initiated the process. But the history is even before that. But it was, start of formally started, and this the whole renaissance was brought by Haibat Baba. He was Sardar in the Gwalior kingdom. This is the period of Wari, the four important Waris mapped throughout, and the important festivals in the Pandharpur town as well, which are associated with the Lord Vithala. This shows the structure of Wari, how the Wari pilgrimage is laid out. It's such a vast, it's a very disciplined, with regular set of rules and regulation with all pilgrims follow, and it has been 1,000 years of tradition, and there is not a single mismanagement, a predetermined schedule time. This is Santa Jnaneshwar Mauli. This is the template set by Santa Jnaneshwar Maharaj Palki, and it is followed by all 126 Palkis today, which are coming from their hometowns to Pandharpur. This is the Arandi, and these are the places where the Palki halt. There's the pilgrims. This is the Prasthan Sohra, which is again one of the important day, and all the pilgrims gathering at the Arandi, the Samadhi of Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj. This is the Dive Ghat in Pune. And this is the diagrammatically I've tried to map the Pandharpur Wari, and showing this is the Wari structure, the Palki procession structure, and you further break down into a dindi. So Wari comprises of dindi, small dindis, a group of pilgrims, which I mentioned earlier, and then there are tarkaris who carrying the tars, then there is a person who is carrying the flag, dindi number, women carrying Tulsi Vrindavan, and they are disciplinedly aligned, placed at standingly while walking, and everyone has their duties assigned. This is the Wari halting, Wari halt at various places, their gatherings during afternoons, and this is the Jnaneshwar Maharaj schedule of the Palki and the date. This is the activities during the Wari, the Samaj Arti at the evenings happening at a specific location. Then the Ringan is the highest point of Wari, which is like the form of Navavidha Bhakti, and all pilgrims are just waiting to see the Wari. This is I've tried to diagrammatically again map the Wari Ringan, where how the audience are placed, how the locals are placed, and the pilgrims. And again, it is a disciplined setup which is done by the pilgrims. This is a photo. This is the Ubhe Ringan. So there are two type of Ringan. One is the circular one, and the other is the Ubhe, the standing ones. This is one of the pictures from Ubhe Ringan. Wari intangible heritage is very rich. It's rich in all terms. The literature aspect, as well as the performing arts, the music, dance, drama, sports. There are innumerable sports. The Palki procession meeting at certain points. All the Palkis coming from Maharashtra meet at the Vakhri, the first town before the Pandharpur. This is the Sant Tukaram Maharaj and Arandi's Palki schedule and their point. And this is the map showing all the Palkis coming from places of Maharashtra. We have Palkis coming from Karnataka. There has been a record that Sant Kabir's Palki from Varanasi has been coming to Pandharpur, but it somehow stopped before the British, during the British period. And this is the showing the impact of how the pilgrim towns are affected by such a large number of processions in the large number of gatherings. We come to the Pandharpur aspect. Pandharpur has emerged out as a cultural landscape and pilgrim center since its association with Lord Vitthal, a deity worshipped by millions of people from all over the country. Reaching Pandharpur was an ultimate aim of pilgrims, who affectionately called it as Bhu Vaikunta. This is the Chandrabhaga river, also known as Bhima river. This is the gathering of the pilgrims. And we have the records mentioned, the Adi Shankaracharya has come to the Pandharpur and writes the Pandurang Ashtakam shlok. Then we have the famous story of Kannada Vitthal, based like the main Vitthal Murti being taking to the Karnataka. I'll just quickly move the mythological aspect. Pundalik, the Vitthal temple. This is a map showing the evolution of the town from from the inception of the temple. This map is done by me and showing the important sites in the Pandharpur. The land use pattern, how the residential amenities. This is the cultural heritage classification I have done. This is showing the new Pandharpur, and which is known as Navi Pet and the Zuni Pet. So the old town and the new town. This is the points of ruins of the older town. You can call it marked by temples. Last few decades, Pandharpur has witnessed a remarkable changes in an environmental aspect, occupational structure, urban land use pattern, and infrastructural infusions. The lack of basic facilities for pilgrims and environmental disturbance is immeasurable. The method of study adopted by me was to document the town extensively through mapping, photography, and literature, site visits, to identify and justify the issues, to showcase the tangible and intangible cultural heritage of towns. Hence, my study focused on undertaking, documenting, and preserving the cultural heritage and complex issues faced by pilgrimage town of Pandharpur. The outcome of this research supports sensitively in understanding religious and pilgrimage sites, and creating a design guideline and architectural program for new development. And the current scenario of Pandharpur town, without any new without any Western ideas, that is very important, that without any Western ideas, we should take further and maintain the Indianness and the Indian landscape of Pandharpur. I just quickly take. So I divide the town, study into the point of user. I targeted the three users, the pilgrim, tourist, and the locals. And my whole studies was aligned through their activities. And this activity mapping of the pilgrims, tourist activity mapping, where are the points where they meet, and this activity mapping and the the users, where the issues were chalked down on this aspect, the town, the overall issues of the town with respect to the users, with the river, with the ghats, and with the Pradakshina road which is there. And this SWOT analysis presenting a detailed matrix of what are the issues, just running through the images. And this is the issues identified: the lack of cultural preservation, environmental issues, no use of latest technologies, management issues, like such a big number of crowd, and how architecturally you can take it. This was my architectural interventions, which I did. And this is how we can take it further. So I proposed a public-private partnership. So such a large number of projects need a public-private partnership, and we can't let each of the entities, we can't isolate anyone. Since the collaborative practice of taking together tourists, taking the NGOs together, environmentalists, activists, conservationists, archaeologists, and together we can derive a sustainable pilgrim environment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
With this, we come to the end of Maharashtra Yatra session, and I think we'll be able to take the questions at the end after all the papers are over.